Can you imagine being either a Brown student or the parent of a Brown student right now and hearing that presser last night after you were told that they had a person of interest in custody, that they had lifted the shelter in place, and you've been walking around, you'd been thinking they had, and only to find out it's fine. And then that ridiculous mayor doubled down on his inanity at a press conference just before we came to air, like an hour before. Watch this.
Explain this notion that appears to be in conflict. There's a killer on the loose and a manhunt underway. So how can that be the case when you say why are you confident there is no threat to public safety?
The call came in for the shooting at 4:05 p.m. on Saturday. It's Monday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, and there has not been a single credible or specific threat that we've received since that time. And so
you're an idiot.
Just because of those facts, that's why we believe it is safe and appropriate for residents in Providence to be sending their kids to school today and to be out in the community. There has been no follow-up threat.
That's outrageous. I would never send my kid to school if we lived in Providence today. Not a chance. Moreover, we'd have every door and window locked. There's a killer on the loose who's killing young kids, young people, 19, 20, and has absolutely no concern for human life. Why? This is their mayor. Mm-hmm. This is politics, Emily.
Well, yeah, I saw the exact same thing you did in that, which was the clear, cynical political motivation to try to pretend that a mess didn't happen rather than cleaning it up. And actually, the politics of that are horrible because it's going to be seared into everybody's memory now. This is the guy who didn't say the buck stops with me. This was a mistake. It's the guy who tried to pretend like everything was fine. And Megyn, I think about the Boston bombing manhunt. Obviously not apples to apples here, but that was a very dangerous situation when you have people who are desperate to evade justice and capture. They end up, in some cases, doing very dangerous, desperate things. So let alone another reason why you should be sheltering in place if you're in Providence, Rhode Island right now, because who knows if someone's trying to, for example, hide under a boat and gets into a shootout with law enforcement. These things are all well within the realm of possibility.
Like with the Boston Marathon bomber.
Exactly. Yep.
Yes. Well, and honestly, it's like, who knows if this person has any means? They had means enough to buy a gun. They were smart enough to get on this campus and to go right to this. I mean, because there are no Saturday classes typically. That's not really a day of the week where the kids are going to classes. But he knew that there was this exam review course happening inside this one building and inside this one classroom. And he happened to choose the one building that doesn't have any cameras. So all of that suggests he's no dummy. He figured a few things out and he's gotten away with it so far. Who the hell knows where he is, Emily? Who the hell knows where he is? So if he had means, if he had a car, if he could get on a bus, we have no idea what he looks like. There's no profile whatsoever. So there's no, picture of him at the Greyhound or the Amtrak or American and Delta and United. No idea. Could be out of the country by now. Mm-hmm. Could easily be out of the country by now if he had planned ahead, or could be on the way to another school, to another campus. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't mean to unnecessarily scare people, but the only proper tone right now is deadly serious, cautionary, warning, and you don't want to create a panic, but you also don't want to ignore the threat, which is what that mayor is doing. I don't know. Let's move on because we could spend all day bashing him. I do want to show this. It's the terrified Brown students cowering in a university library as they could hear shots outside. Now this winds up being the police, but these poor students don't know that at this point.
Hands, stand up, hands. Providence police! Everybody's hands. Hands. Everybody get your hands. Hands. Just keep your hands up for us. Obviously there's something going on. We're here to help you. Just listen to what we have to say, okay? All right, breathe. Anybody hurt? No? All right, just listen to our commands. We will get you out of here safely. Is this it? Is this the group?
If you have your bags, your phones, go grab it now. Quickly,
Go, quick, go.
in orderly, fast. Let's go.
All the kids have their hands up.
Good job.
They're all complying, of course. These poor kids.
Grab your stuff. Hurry up.
That is just heartbreaking. You know, it's like we mock Brown University a lot because it's so far left, it's so progressive, but it's like these poor kids. You have to be very smart to get into Brown University. It is Ivy or very connected, but you do. I mean, in general, you have to be an extraordinary student truly to get into there. And those kids just are trying to learn. Left, right, who gives a shit? They're just trying to learn, trying to get an education, trying to make it ahead in this world, just like everyone else. Try to get a first good job, try to get a home, try to make it in an economy that is really not set up for success for young people. And this is the shit they have to deal with. For the listening audience, they were hiding behind, they were in the library, and you picture the stacks of books that only go up to like maybe 5 or 6 feet tall, and they're open at each end. So it's not like, it doesn't really block you from an active shooter. He would just have to turn the corner of the little bookcase, and they're all cowering down there, hearing shots go on, shots. And then you finally hear the police, and I'm sure there was a huge sigh of relief as they lifted their arms and complied. But you can't help but think of the terror they must have been in.
Relief, and also probably for some of them still fear, because what if someone is pretending to be the police, also not outside of the realm of possibility in a situation like that. And I'm 32. I was in elementary school when Columbine happened, and I think people, especially younger than me, but everyone who is like 30 and under, just you ended up having to do those drills in school since you're like 5 years old, active shooter drills, and this is every student's worst nightmare. These kids were just trying to get through finals, and then the scene that they have seen play out on their smartphones from different cases, Parkland, over and over the years as they've been in school, it visits them like a couple of weeks before Christmas, and it's happening to them in real life. So even though that was the police and they were hearing shots from the police, those kids are now traumatized. That will stay with a lot of them for a long, long time. That is literally the worst nightmare.
And there was at least one, possibly two students who had been at Parkland at that shooting in Florida as high schoolers, or would have had to be middle schoolers now. I'm trying to do my math. That happened in 2018, and now so it's 7 years ago. So they must have been more junior, or maybe they took gap years, and then because at least one was saying that they'd been at the high school when the shooting had taken place, and now again. I mean, I don't even know how you'd handle going in public after that, because we're all banking on it being a better chance of getting struck by lightning than finding yourself in one of these shooting situations. But they're happening so frequently that's starting to feel less comforting. And I use that term comfort, with a huge grain of salt. We're seeing our fellow Americans get shot down in the prime of their lives. No one wants this. No one fucking wants this. I mean, most people don't want this. I don't know what the answer is. I was thinking for these students, in this case, do we have to get to the point when they go to school, whatever school it is, college on down, the doors lock. The class starts at 9. You have a 5-minute grace period, say, and then that door locks. That's it. It will not be reopened. If you don't get there on time, you miss the class that day. It's locked. So, I mean, that would be another layer. That's the one thing I've learned in dealing with lots of security over the course of my, professional life, and plenty recently. Layers between you and potential danger is what it's all about. You just to give law enforcement the time to get to you. And on these college campuses, there aren't enough.
No, I agree with that. I mean, I think I've been thinking a lot about this lately because, in the Charlie case, we've been rightfully so focused on Charlie and his family. And then I think, there were thousands of kids that day who had a bullet whiz past them, and they saw the carnage and the panic. And that's thousands of kids who just at that one school are now dealing with this panic and probably PTSD in a lot of their cases. And you think about Brown, you get an active shooter alert on your phone. which I assume went out in the case of Brown. It happens at, schools. There was a mistaken one that was sent out when I was in college. It is absolutely terrifying. I mean, again, like, this is like nightmare fuel. It is everybody's worst case scenario when you're a teenager and you're in college. And so to get that in and of itself is terrifying. And just thinking a little bit also about the Australia story you introduced, Megyn. In that case, I know we're going to talk about it, but they have really strict gun laws in Australia. Some of these shootings happen in places where there are really strict gun laws. College campuses are certainly those types of places. There's just evil. I mean, there's just unimaginable evil. And this period of high-tech modernity seems to be bringing out more and more of it in more and more dangerous ways. And to some extent, there's nothing you'll ever be able to do to protect yourself from the evil that's in the world.
There are two things we can do. There are at least two things we can do. And I don't know how I feel about having like all kids armed on college campuses. Right. That seems like, I don't know, extreme to me. But people are getting murdered on college campuses at an alarming rate. They are. Mm-hmm. The attempted murders and murders happening at the hands. This is when these young men are having their psychotic breaks. Mm-hmm. And it does tend to happen. Ask any shrink between basically 18 and 26. And I haven't looked it up. I'll bet you the endowment for Brown University is in the hundreds of millions of dollars. For sure, it's going to be in the tens of millions. Is it really so hard for them to beef up their security? Is it so hard for them to have at Brown University, which actually isn't even that huge? I mean, it's very exclusive, so it's not that huge. To have a guard at every door, an armed guard at every building, Is it so hard, including on Saturday? If the students are there, you're there with your loaded gun. And that way, at least, when you hear shots fired, you can minimize the carnage. Or as a deterrent. It serves as a deterrent. Can't they spend some of their damn millions on that? That's one thing. And I've said it after every school shooting for a long time since I figured out it was necessary. We need an institution, a lockup for people who are potential school shooters, and their family and friends know who they are in most of the cases. You're going to tell me that guy who shot up this Ascension school in Minneapolis was not known by his family to be a seriously dangerous young man?
Uvalde, Parkland.
It has to be a place.
It happens all the time.
Yes. Mm-hmm. The Sandy Hook. Mm-hmm. It has to be a place to which a loving mother would voluntarily commit her son. It's always a son. Stop. It is. One in New Orleans was, Nashville was a woman. But they can go too. I'm not trying to defend women, but I'm just saying, let's be honest about what the profile of these shooters is. So that it's not going to get them all. It's not even going to get most of them, to be honest, because a lot of them don't show signs. But it's going to get a fair amount, and it's going to save lives. And look, same thing for us. I'm sorry for the Ukrainians, but that $60 billion would have more than covered such a facility for the rest of your lifetime. Not even just my lifetime, your lifetime as well. I mean, easily. And think of the number of American lives that could have been spared if we had that kind of a lockup. It's a lockup. It's a prison-esque facility, but it's a mental health facility where, yes, your child is going to be locked up in a room, and we'll have group time just like prisoners do, and we'll have mental health caregivers to medicate and look after them. And it's honestly as much for their sake as it is for ours. I've spoken to these mothers. They want these kids taken. Mm-hmm. They do not want to be responsible. They can't handle them any more than the prison system can. There are a lot of politicians that should be getting coal in their stocking for Christmas, but Birch Gold thinks, as a smart planner, you deserve silver. That's why for every $5,000 you purchase between now and December 22nd, Birch Gold will send you an ounce of silver, which is up over 60% this year. See, smart people diversify and have a hedge. That's why you should consider Birch Gold. With the rate cuts from the Fed in 2026, the dollar could be worth less. And what happens if the AI bubble bursts? Consider letting Birch Gold Group help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. And for every $5,000 you buy, you will get an ounce of silver for you or your kids. Just text MK to the number 989898 to claim your eligibility for this offer. Again, text MK to 989898 because Birch Gold's free silver with qualifying purchase promotion ends on December 22nd. Message and data rates may apply. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.